Welcome to Trading Lounge and the SP 500 for the 8th of June. And look, I just want to start with the Nikkei here because the move up through here is quite easily displayed as wave 1 here and 2 here and 1 here and 2 here. So we're going into this nice third wave here. So this is the case for other Asian countries as well, but this particular pattern could also fit quite nicely within the US pattern as well. So I think it's something that we need to just take on board and keep it in the background a little bit, because we are seeing the US markets, move quite strongly now. So we'll just keep that in the background. So let's have a look at the US market. So the S&P 500 here, in a nutshell, we're looking for a move from this low here, somewhere up around the 4,000 area. We can look at the count as we get there. So we're looking for an impulse wave. It's how we get those, how that plays out. And as always, we just go step by step, level by level, price point by price point, so to speak, because we just really want to take money out of the market. So we need to be sure that we're in an impulse wave and heading in the right direction and keeping the stop out of the way. So with that in mind, we can have a look at that count that we just looked at then with the Nikkei here. So I'll just bring this across here. So that would relate to this in terms of 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, and then a third wave in here. So I think we just keep this on board and we'll just see how this goes, because when we've been working with this little structure in here, we've been looking at it and we've been saying to ourselves, okay, well, that's wave 1 and 2 here, and this is wave 3 here, and wave 4 and wave 5, but wave 3 is looking a little bit short in here, so we can't use that as wave 3 anymore. So we need to have this as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So we've just been working through the count, staying at a conservative base with it, and just edging forward in the right way, and I think that that's okay. So that's what we've been doing, and it seems to be working okay. So we're going to do the same with this particular structure as well. I'll put it there. I think I've mentioned it before, but we just got to kind of work through it. The other count, of course, for this here is the that's not the count I was looking. Yes, it is. Yeah, sorry. There's another way to count this as well. So in this instance here, we can count 5 waves up here for 1 and ABC for 2 here. Wave 2 is a bit shallow, so that kind of bothers me a little bit. It wasn't really simple. It was simple, but it wasn't sharp, and it didn't pull back to its right length. But at the same time, we've been working through here, and all we've been seeing is expanding structures, building. So we'll just go with that, and we'll just work through the levels as we go through here. So in this case, that should be up there at 5, and the next one at 8. So 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. Of course, 34 is actually a Fibonacci number as well, isn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, 55, 89, 144, and so on. So it's really played out here, so we really need to take note on that there as well, and we'll certainly see some consolidation at that point. And also too, just regarding the trading levels here, if we get a nice support if we get tested support on the 300 here, then that takes us to the 500 at that point. Now, that's normally the case, but because we've got this one old high sitting here at 34, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this level here. But the thing is that once we get support there, the other side of the coin here is that what the market is actually doing, it's actually leaving this number. Once they get support, it severs any connection with this number here, and then the market starts to look up to the next number, which is the 5 here. But in this case, we're going to have problems at 34, and we're going to have a series of fourth waves coming and playing out in that space there. So, but yeah, getting support here on 30 on the number 3 here, that puts us that puts us up higher at that point. That's all it does. So that's what we're looking at that point. So let's go in and have a look at these structures here. So if we look at it as 1 and 2 here, and the third wave, this wave, intermediate wave 3 here, that needs to take us way above, well, up at the 35 area through here. So just bear that in mind as well as we move through. So we've been looking at these structures through here, and this was one of them here when we counted this one as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then we said to ourselves, well, now that that's moved up higher here, we can't label that wave 3, so we have to label it 1, 2, 1, 2, and we can see that the market's really extending out through here for this. So we'll just continue counting. It does get a little bit messy in here where the riots were in here, a little bit sort of tricky to count. You've got to kind of move into the guessing game a little bit. But the other point here too is that you see how we got support on the levels here of 1, 2, and 3 that make up group 1 here, and we want support on that 300 here. Now this is a support here because it's done a correction here and then it took out the new highs here. So we've been long from that point and we're up here, and we'll talk about those trades in a moment. But in a nutshell, we're looking for the same thing here. It will be the same but different. As we go up, this level 1 here, this level 2 here should create a bigger correction, and this one here at 3 should create a bigger correction still. In terms of trading up here though, we've got some long positions in here, and it's okay to take some profit here if you wish, but we're also going to be looking to add to the positions over here, and we'll get to the 300 here. That's where we really want to get to at that point. The swings at this level at 3 here can get bigger, so it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to hold through that and move up further for that, if you can handle the heat. But if you're a shorter term trader, well, then you'll just take the money off the table there. If you're a short term trader, you'll take it off the table here, get back in over here, get out over here, wait for the setup to get here and move. So it doesn't really matter what you do, as long as you stick to what you're doing and you got your rules and you know what you're doing. That's the main point. You don't want to be changing in halfway along. So let's just go in and pull this part a little bit further. So looking at it sort of like this here in a way. So we've got this can be counted in different ways here. I understand that, and I'll keep adjusting it until I get the right fit. But in the meantime, it doesn't matter that much, because all we're looking for here is a little classic trading levels pattern across here. We've had the arrival, the reaction. We're looking for the first high above the level, and then we'll have our correction at that point. So we've got the arrival now. We're pulling back. It can pull back further, and we'll look at that. Then we're looking for the first high above the level. So you could take profit here if you wanted to, or some profit, but certainly looking to get back in down at this end and over here as well for this. So we want to migrate from being a resistance to support at the 3,200. That's what we're looking for. And you don't need to understand Elliott, you just need to see it visually. And if you can keep your hands off the buttons long enough, off the keyboard long enough, then you should be okay. Patience is the virtue here for this. So, it can take a while. We had to wait through this here, didn't we? We came down and back and up and down, and then we could bring our trigger here. We had it up here, probably down here, and then down to here, and then we're off from that point. So I've moved the stop here because I just want to give it a lot of space here for that, because I know working with the levels, this probably just come down into group 2 here, which is 65, 72 and 80, and we'll check on that in a moment. But it is possible for the market to come down to the 31.50. So if you're trading for the longer term here, then you want to keep your stop below the 31.50 area here for that. And I'm going to do that. I've got half a dozen positions in here myself, so I will I just want to ride this out, and I want to look to build it over this side here to move to the upside further. As I mentioned, this could be counted differently here in this regard, so I'll just keep that in mind. I think I've done that on the 15-minute chart here. Yeah, so just to point that out a little bit, 1 and 2 here. We had this as 1 and 2 here, but it's possible to have it 1 and 2 here, and then it doesn't really make a lot of difference actually. And then from this point up for 1 here and back for 2 here, and then we've got this nice third wave here, which I also need to pull apart as well. But I know that we're going to get this classic trading levels pattern across here. So Friday being bullish, we're going to see Monday being bullish, and profit taking on the Tuesday, and so on. But look, all we want to do is we just want to you know, get support across this level here. Now this market has moved up, the S&P's moved up really quite nicely compared to the Nasdaq, but the Nasdaq is getting closer to 10,000, so it's also going to be a bit of a psychological finishing line for the Nasdaq there as well, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yes, full steam ahead here for this. And yeah, so just to recap, actually what we need to do here is we need to, if I look at this here, this low of wave 2 here to this wave 3 here, the 38.2% retracement level can come back into group 2 here. And as I always say, that when you're working with a number, so in this case we're working with 3,200 because it's the closest largest number, and then you have group 1 above that and group 2 below that. That's the swing range for that. That's where it all should stay within. And what we're looking for is eventually support on top of this level here, on top of the 3. Trading above it here is not support, okay? It needs to come back and test it, like it needs to come back and test it here. All of these are testing, test the retest. You can, you know, people can buy the pullbacks and the retracements, and that's always good, but you really need to know how far they're actually going to pull back. So you're better off like taking that high out or bring it down to the next high, this high here. The same with this, the same with this. We went long here on this one here, we built in through here. So yeah, just refining those setups just to get not more money, but safer trades. That's what we're kind of after, really. We want to feel comfortable and safe and confident. And then once you've got that, then you can handle the money that you've got much better. And yeah, it just makes it all round an easier journey. Rightio. So we're just going to go back and recap probably on the 4-hour chart. We'll do that. So we're looking at either whatever counts we're looking at here, we're seeing the market, you know, scoot along quite nicely. Now, in relation to the market scooting along quite nicely, we know that our levels here of 100, 200 and 300, they're our main resistance and target areas and so on, and we're likely to see corrections at these levels here. So what we're trying to do is wait for corrections like this one and then this one here and this one here, and to build back in and continue to go to the next level. You can trade between the levels, and that's perfectly fine, beautiful, or you can stay in for the longer haul. And what we're looking for in the bigger picture is to find support on this level here. Now, I know that Normally the number 4 doesn't give us much grief, but it will do in this case because it's an old high, and of course the Nasdaq will be will be vibrating at the 10,000 at that point as well. So we'll need to drill in and have a look at US banks, which we have started to do, and also the tech stocks that are leading to the upside as well. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in, much appreciated. Thanks for the support.